Networking is the ongoing process of building interconnected relationships for the purpose of politicking and socializing. Networking is about building professional relationships and friendships using ethical behavior. Networks are clusters of people joined by a variety of links. Networking is about marketing yourself. You're responsible for your career and the exposure of your talents and skills. The networking process includes these tasks: performing self assessment and setting objectives, creating a 1 minute self sell, developing a network, conducting networking interviews, and maintaining that network. Although the same networking process applies to broad career development, it can also apply to job search for an internship or a part time as well as a full time job. Here's a sequential approach to developing a network. Begin with the people you know, your primary contacts. Everyone can create a network list of about 200 people consisting of professional and personal contacts. Address books, paper or Facebook and email and phone lists are a great resource. Ask your primary contacts for secondary contacts with whom you can network. Continually update and add to your list with referrals from others. You can network and get closer to decision makers in hiring decisions through this type of process. When meeting with your primary and secondary contacts, introduce yourself with a 1 minute sell. When you're introduced to people, call them by name 2 or 3 times during the conversation. If you think that they can help you, don't stop with casual conversation. Make an appointment at a later time for a phone conversation, personal meeting, coffee, or lunch. Get their business cards and add it to your network list, and give them your card or resume when appropriate. Next, expand your list to include people you don't know. Where should you go? Anywhere people gather. Get more involved with professional associations and attend their meetings and conferences. Many have special student memberships, and some even have college chapters. Set up a networking interview to meet your objective. It may take many interviews to meet a goal, such as getting a job offer. An informational interview is a phone call or preferably a face to face meeting that you initiate to meet objectives, such as to gain information from a contact with hands on experience in your field of interest. After you've established your initial rapport by praising and reading the person, the networking interview process includes these steps. First, deliver a 1 minute self sell. Ask prepared questions, get additional contacts, ask them how you can help, and follow up with a thank you and a status report. Keep your network informed of your career progress. Make a personal commitment to continue networking to be in charge of your career development. Negotiating is a process in which two or more parties have something the other wants and attempt to come to an exchange agreement. Negotiation is also called bargaining. You may not realize it, but every time you try to meet an objective to get your way or what you want with the help of others, you're negotiating. Negotiating is an interpersonal skill that's important to career success. When you negotiate, you use your power, influencing tactics, and political behavior to help you meet your objectives. If you want to improve your negotiation skills, continue to hone the craft in those 3 areas. The negotiation process has 3 and possibly 4 steps. First, planning. Second, bargaining. Third, the possibility of a postponement. And fourth, an agreement or no agreement. Success or failure in negotiation is often based on preparation. Be clear about what you're trying to negotiate. Negotiating planning includes researching the other parties, setting objectives, anticipating questions and objections, and preparing answers and developing options and trade offs. Step 1: research the other parties. Researching the other party doesn't mean only the person, it includes the person's situation. Step 2: set objectives based on your research. What can you expect? You have to identify the bottom line, one thing you must come away with. Step 3, anticipate questions and objections and prepare answers. You need to be prepared with the answer to an unasked question: what's in it for me? Step 4, develop options and trade offs. If you have multiple sellers or job offers, you're in a stronger power position to get your target price. You have to plan for alternatives when it comes to the negotiation process. After you've planned a negotiation, you're ready to bargain. Face to face negotiations are generally preferred because you can see and read the other person's nonverbal behavior and better understand objections. Bargaining includes developing rapport and focusing on obstacles, letting the other person or party make the first offer, listening and asking questions to focus on meeting the other party's needs, not being too quick to give in, and asking them for something in return. As we go through the bargaining steps, you'll realize that you've already planned for each step of bargaining. Step 1, develop rapport, read the person. Smile and call the other parties by name as you greet them. Start developing trust and buy in terms of the relationship. Some people like to get right down to business, while others want to get to know you before discussing that business. Read their style and try to match it. Step 2, let the other party make the first offer. Without setting objectives in preparation for bargaining, how do you know if an offer is any good? With objectives in mind, you have the advantage because if the other party offers you more than your opening and targeting objective, then you can close the agreement. Step 3, listen and ask questions to focus on meeting the other party's needs. Listen and ask questions to focus on meeting the other party's needs with empathy during bargaining, especially when you're in conflict. This is your opportunity to give your prepared answers to the objections while focusing on the other party's needs. Steps 4 and 5. Don't be too quick to give in and ask for something in return. Those who ask get more. If you've planned, you've developed options and have trade offs ready. If others know you're desperate or just weak, you will accept a low agreement and they will likely take advantage of you. When you're involved with a complex deal with trade offs, be willing to be the first to make a concession. Concessions tend to be reciprocated to lead to agreements. The other party tends to feel obligated, and then you can come back with a counter trade off that is larger than the one you gave up. When there doesn't seem to be any progress, it may be wise to postpone your negotiation. When the other party is postponing, you may create some urgency. If the other party says, I'll get back to you, let the other parties know what they have to lose. But to create long term relations, you need to be sure that you're giving the other party a good deal. Honesty is always the best policy. Establishing a relationship of trust is the necessary first step in closing a deal. If you don't have other options, you can use them to create urgency. When you want to postpone, the other party may create urgency. If you're not satisfied with the deal or want to shop around, tell the other party you'll think about it. You may also need to check with your boss or someone else, which simply may be for advice before you can finalize a deal. If the other party is creating urgency, be sure it's really urgent. In any case, you may get the same deal at a later date. Don't be pressured into making a deal that you're not satisfied with or might regret later. If you do want to postpone, give the other party a specific time you'll get back to them, and then do so. You may sometimes get your opening offer, or better, if the other party offers more before you open with an offer. If your target and the other party's target are the same, you could both get the target and have a great deal. So when you get your opening offer and both parties get their target objective, there's no real bargaining compromise. However, it's common for targets to be in opposition. The bargaining range is the range between your limit and the other party's limit, which falls between each party's target and limit. Once an agreement has been made, restate it and put it in writing when appropriate. It's common to follow up with an agreement with a letter that thanks the individual or the group and restates the agreement to ensure the other parties have not changed their minds to what they've agreed to. After a deal is made, stop selling it. Change the subject to a personal and or leave the situation depending on the person's preferred negotiation style. Avoid the so-called winner's curse. Be happy that you got a good deal. Don't start second guessing your decision. Rejection, refusal, and failure happen to all of us. Successful people keep trying and learn from their mistakes and continue to work hard because failures usually make you better. If you cannot come to an agreement, analyze the situation and try to determine where you went wrong so you can improve in the future. You may also ask the other party for advice. The influencing process begins with an objective. Ethical leadership, power, politics, etiquette, networking, and negotiating are used to motivate others to help reach the objective. And through trust and creating a win win situation for all parties, the objective is met. Leadership is the process of influencing employees to work towards the achievement of objectives. So much of leadership is about getting people to do what the organization wants. Motivation is the internal process leading to behavior to satisfy needs. Power is a person's ability to influence others to do something they wouldn't otherwise do. Politics is the process of getting and using power. Networking is the ongoing process of building interconnected relationships for the purpose of politicking and socializing. Negotiating is the process in which two or more parties have something the other wants and attempt to come to an exchange agreement. Trust is the positive expectation that another will not take advantage of you. We can view leadership skills from a personal level within and outside organizations as they relate to your behavior, human relations, and performance. You begin with a need or something you want, so you set an objective. Often, you need other people to help you get what you want, so you have to motivate them to help you. You use power, politics, and networking behavior to get others to help you meet your objective, and you in turn do favors for others in your network. When others have something you want and you have something they want, you negotiate so you both meet your objectives, creating a win win situation. But to get people to help you, you need to develop trust by using ethical behavior to get what you want.